He's the voiceover studio engineer of the Stars in Los Angeles, California, a Virginia Tech grad with a knowledge of recording studios unmatched in his field. He's a voice actor from Buffalo, New York, with 30 years experience in recording studios and behind the mic. He solves people's home voiceover studio problems in the blink of an eye. Together, there's no studio problem they can't solve, and they'll do it for you tonight. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. Now, live from a basement in Buffalo and an office in L.A., here are Dan Leonard and George Whittam.
All right, good evening. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we're East West Audio Body Shop.
And I'm America's voiceover sweetheart, John Taylor.
John Taylor is our special guest tonight. He's going to be with us in studio all evening long. So if you have a question for John, you can give us a Skype call at SoundGun. Right, George?
Yeah, that's the Skype call account we're using tonight, SoundGun.
And this is a new character called Helpful Voiceover Hand. Right here. He used to work for Hamburger Helper until he lost his eyes. But this is the helpful say something. Oh, he doesn't have a mouth either. And that's the best kind of voice. Or a mic. Yeah.
Or a mic.
But he's here to help with anything you need, so
I could clip a
join
lav
in.
on
Okay.
I got a lav form around here somewhere.
That's all right.
All right.
The joke is over.
Yeah.
Things are going to be a little loosey-goosey tonight. I sort of get the feeling. And we've got lots of things that we can talk about. And, of course, we'd love to take your calls. We've got John with us, who can share his knowledge and his experience in this wonderful business we call voiceover, or, what else do we got? Voice acting. All right, first off, here's the question of the night. How do you spell voiceover? Is it with a hyphen? Is it both V and O capitalized? What is that? What's the deal with that?
No, I don't think there's not. I've seen a vote on that. It was on one of the websites a while ago. What was the website that was talking about what you're supposed to write it as? Was it something at Voice 2010 or something? I don't know.
It's voice acting. It's just voice acting. Go with the voice acting.
Yeah,
That's
you're right. Just call it voice acting.
Yeah. Now, in Google, they always make it one word voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
So go figure. So now I've got to change all my SEO stuff because they don't know what the heck they're doing. Anyway, good evening to you all. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. And we're here to help you with your studio problems. We're here to talk about industry stuff, which can be just about anything, actually, when you come to think of it. I mean, all right, the last few weeks, all we've been talking about is that iPad and external mic thingy. And we've been experimenting with that. I discovered with the bus I have that my MicPort Pro won't work with it. But,
yeah, I know. It's the story goes on because, that Bo Weaver thing, he sent an email out, so then I blog posted it, and then so everybody's trying it now. So Dan, you're saying you've tried that technique that Bo mentioned, and it's not working out for you?
Well, not with my 3035 and my MicPort Pro. I mean, if I used my AT2020 USB, it worked okay. It's kind of hard to control the levels and stuff, but it was okay.
But did you try using a battery pack to power the USB hub? Actually, the way that Bo found to do it is using a battery pack that's a USB battery pack, and it's a USB battery pack with two ports on it. So one port goes to the iPad camera adapter, the other port goes to the MicPort Pro. And so the battery pack is basically passing the signal right through the battery pack and onto the MicPort Pro.
It's powering it, right?
The
powering the signal.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't look like it should work, but apparently it does work, and it works quite well.
Yeah, that was the thing I didn't get. I plugged it in, and I plugged the 2020 into it, and it just started working. It didn't ask me any questions. It was just, this sounds good enough. And off it went.
It's probably because the 2020 requires very little power to operate.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't have to provide true phantom power, and it doesn't have to provide a headphone amplifier and all these other things. Maybe that's why that mic, ends up working.
Mike Summer says buy a laptop.
Yeah, Mike's
just buy a laptop.
In the chat room, Mike Summer.
I use a netbook. I don't know. Eventually, it's going to be to the point where it's like, all right, you gotta hook a USB into the implant that's in your eyelid, You know, it's like, why does everything have to get so small that you can't see it anymore? You know,
Yeah, but I'm asking myself the same question.
Yeah,
You know?
I like
I mean-
you know, Fisher Price, and that it's got to have big knobs on it. I got
have
to be
to
able
agree
to.
with that.
I have to plug in my. I need to have this. If I'm going to edit, I don't want to edit on a touch screen. I need to have this.
That's true. Well, you know, the systems that are on the iPad are getting better and better, and I have a feeling with Lion coming in, we're going to probably see a few more changes in the next couple of years too. If you happen to have a Mac.
I actually threw Lion up on my machine. I have a second partition for Lion.
What you
See
think?
what it's all about. Well, it's another version of Mac OS. It's like, to me, at the end of the day, it's just going to do the jobs I need to do anyway. I don't know. You know, whenever these new versions of OSs come out, I don't really like clamor to try them out. I'm a slow.
Wait a minute.
I'm a slow adopter.
Before we go any further, he's got his hand on the faders as if he can anticipate when I'm going to talk.
He's riding the levels?
Yeah, there's no
What is
way.
this, radio?
No, yeah, there's no way. So if you people can stand the background noise of you know the fan behind me, that's fine. But you're not going to be. You're going to miss all of the good comedy.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Then I have to unplug something.
All right, unplug
All right.
something. Not my mic.
There.
What was that?
I had to unplug my noise gate.
Oh yeah.
And I'll
Who cares about quality?
Well,
we're
the problem-
on eWebs.
The reason I don't unplug is because it adds a slight delay,
Oh.
which then made it sound like you were at the other side of a room about 100 feet away. And it was
okay.
really weird.
Okay.
So now we'll make it easy. I'm not going to play with the faders.
Yes, leave it up. Make it easy on yourself. That's the
going
whole
to.
thing. Make it easy on yourself.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. This is
Take
you know.
it easy on yourself.
This is
was
the
that
thing.
song?
That's not a song.
This is the
Yes,
thing.
it was. It was a Burt Bacharach tune. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are all younger than me. You
I
don't
remember Burt Bacharach, Hal David. Whoa, 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 whoa. And here you go. I brought things that save people effort, and here is one. Everybody's like, oh, my mouse is broken, and oh, my wrist hurts from using a mouse. Stop using a mouse. Trackball, marble, Logitech, $24. It's, I don't have wrist problems. Well, certainly not from the editing.
Right. Or Bluetooth mouse. Just do it like this.
I don't mouse at all. The trackball. And one of our friends was online. I forgot who it was. Who said, "Oh, I've got carpal tunnel," and I said, "Get a trackball." He said, a week later, "Best thing I ever got."
Well, it's like anything else. If it's repetitive motion, right? So if I imagine that with a trackball, you may not be able to get carpal tunnel, but maybe you could. So I think maybe switching back and forth between the two devices, maybe
No.
once a day or.
No, you're absolutely wrong. I would not switch back and forth, but this is superior, and I have deemed it so. No, anybody that when we did the thing over at Univision,
Yeah.
I said get trackballs. Anybody using a mouse is it's
And-
like the difference between playing basketball and playing donkey basketball.
Donkey
Have
basketball.
you ever those or
Oh, yes.
yeah?
Yes.
Why be on the donkey when you can just play fast and loose with a trackball? So get that if you're slow.
You know, it's funny. I had a trackball exactly like that for a long time. And some point along the way, maybe it was when I went to the Mac and it came with a new mouse, so I tried it. Mm-hmm. I've been on a mouse ever since, but I don't know.
He
It's
used to
to
use
each
the
his own.
trackball before that unfortunate accident.
Yeah, and when I use a MacBook Pro I like the trackpad on it. It's actually a good trackpad,
Oh, yeah.
so I do use it. And you can actually buy, as a third alternative, you can buy a trackpad for your desktop. Mm-hmm. That's just a big trackpad that you do this on.
I'm just talking about editing. I edit all day long. So all of these things, it's
So do I.
Right, yeah. It's right, Dan, it's
do I.
it's muscular memory.
It
a
is.
lot of it is. And so, putting your hand on a mouse, moving it around on a table, or even, a trackball thing, it's not that precise. People are probably
Right.
saying John's full of crap on the chat room.
Yeah. Go edit a 400-page book. And I'll tell you
I've done
how
it.
crap it is.
I've done
Good
it.
Lord.
15. I estimated I've done 39,000 commercials.
Wow.
So, and they've all been done on it with a trackball. Oh,
What was that?
I don't know.
Which end did that come from?
I don't know. Every now and then, George gets restless leg syndrome, and I think we're having an earthquake.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. But maybe it was my restless leg syndrome.
Things
Can you
start
hear me?
moving.
Is my mic working?
Yeah, it's working.
It's beautifully.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It may have been me. I may have just kicked the mic here. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I owe you a big apology, Dan.
What did I do now?
Well,
what did you do now?
You did a webinar this week talking about the new
CS5, yeah.
CS5, and of course, 48 hours before that, I posted everywhere where anybody would listen, saying, if you're using Adobe Audition 3.0, do not, under any circumstances, upgrade to CS5. And I kind of apologize for that. I still stand by that. If you're using 3.0 and you're doing a lot of multi-track and editing really fast, it's going to change your workflow, and you're going to have to get used to a whole new muscular memory with the new program, and you're going to lose a lot of the functionality that made it as wonderful as it was. But if you're just getting on Adobe Audition as a Mac user, go for it. Have fun. It's a great program.
Miss something you didn't know. Was
Right.
there.
You ain't going to miss what you never had.
It's
That's
the same
right.
thing
Yes.
with the new Final Cut. I don't know if anybody's been following that story, but the new Final Cut for, I know I'm going off topic here, but the
No,
Final
that's
Cut
okay.
for Mac that just came out, it's called Final Cut Pro X.
Final Cut Pro?
Yeah, that's what some people I think are calling it. I mean, it's so drastically different and unarguably bad that even Conan O'Brien did a segment on it.
Oh, I
the
saw
show.
that one. Saw the end of
They
that.
actually did a thing. The editor said, "Yeah, we love it a lot. We're using it right now. We actually use it to cut this, and right in the middle of the guy's talking, they cut to a different shot. You know, all the editing's screwed up. Everything's out of sync. Everything doesn't happen on the right timing. You know, colors all screwed up and everything. So basically, what people are saying is it's the same syndrome. It's the upgrade syndrome. You know, but this is even a much more drastic change. I think from going from Adobe Audition 3 to 5.5.
Right.
There's a lot of changes, but nothing that makes you have to crack the manual and start over. And apparently
No. It
Final
makes
Cut
you want to
Pro
just
X-
not use it anymore because the functionality of being able to, in Windows, example, if you try and open a sound file
Okay.
and you've got a folder that has 55 different explosions in your sound effect library.
Right.
In the preview window to open these files, you're able to see all of the file names, and you just sort of hover over them before you open any of them, and you can hear them in preview. So you can pick just the right explosion. In CS5, if you want to preview any of all of those in a Windows environment, you're going to have to open all of those because there isn't a preview in the Windows functionality. If you're in the Mac, that's sort of native, as you said, to Windows to be able to do that. So my warning was just to people who are already happy with 3.0, wait a little while before you upgrade to CS5, and hopefully some of that functionality for Windows users will come back. But I'm not going to say it's a bad program for those who are just kind of getting their feet wet.
Right. Well, I have been using Soundbooth for the past 5 years. And really what a CS5 is Soundbooth with a little bit more functionality with the ability to put plugins into it. But you're right. There's little funny quirks to it where, you try to you try to save a preset and it doesn't do it. And so you've got to remember and go through but you can still stack the effects. And one of the things we noticed during the webinar is a lot of people were saying, you can stack all the effects? Yeah.
And choose the order.
And
That's
choose
great.
you just stack them and they'll just all run together.
The order matters?
Yes, it does matter. Of course you know it matters. You're the guy who's tweaking everybody's stacks.
No, I mean that's a thing that we, as users think is obvious, but most people may not think that the order that they are stacked in that stack actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
It actually makes a huge difference.
Well, one of the things now, since you can't create your own little presets, like I have, Johnny Big Boy voice or less rumble or...
Oh, you can do that. You
Yeah.
can customize them in there.
And save them.
Yes,
As
supposedly.
preset. Oh, okay. I
Yes.
thought that function. The other functionality in the
think it's
CS5,
buggy.
the other CS5 thing that you lose when you move up to a CS5 from 3.0 is in the multi-track environment. If you had a clip, you could hover over the corner of it and drag when a little clock appeared, and just drag it to visually to to time compress to where you needed it to be in length. And from what I understand, you cannot do that.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have the customizable scores anymore, which was really nice because you could if you had a score that you were putting in there with some of the royalty-free music, that's gone. But this is the way I dealt with it.
That was a pretty
anything new that I start, it goes into CS5 because I've learned how to use that and I'm comfortable with it now. Anything that was done in Sound Booth before, I continue to do in Sound Booth and use all the settings from that. So, anything new, I'm going off in another direction, but anything old, it's still going to sound the same way. So I'm able to match up everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the fallout from this is nearly as bad as Final Cut Pro X, where if you go to the App Store where you have to buy it from now, I think it's $2.99, which is unbelievably cheap for a full-blown video editing suite.
Right.
But the reviews on the software, there's 500 one-star reviews. And keep in mind, you have to buy the software before you're allowed to review it. So that means 500 plus people bought it, then realized they hate it, and you can't return it either.
Which one?
Final Cut Pro X.
Oh,
Once
right.
you've downloaded it from the App Store, you can't return it. So there's
Right.
500 people with this thing going, this thing blows. Why did I buy this? But, at the same time, you're idiots because you're supposed to wait till other schmucks go out and buy it, review it, and then you buy it.
Right. I bought it. I reviewed it. Go buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as simple as that.
All right.
And Adobe hasn't sent me a cent.
Here's something. I wanted to throw something in because we have such a nice community, and people may not may know this guy. He's from back east, terrifically talented, wonderful guy, Bob Hurley. I don't know if you know Bob Hurley.
Oh, yeah.
But Bob,
he was the Bad Audio of the Week contributor last week.
And terrific guy. Yeah. And he just lost his wife. I don't want to bring the room down, but reach out to him and just send him your condolences, and we do too. And it's a big loss.
In fact, he actually told me that the day that he recorded that audio clip for the show. And he sent it to me, and I sent it back, sent a reply going, that's unbelievable. And I wrote him something. He said that was the last thing that his wife smiled about that day. I was like, whoa.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Bob's a great guy. Reach out to him as only the voiceover community can and give him a big VO hug from around the world.
Please do.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess we should take a break right now. And we'll be right back with a little bit more with John Taylor. And your calls, just give us a call on Skype at SoundGun if you have a question to give us here, and we'll be right back after this. Having a home studio is essential. A home studio is a unique environment. Every voice is different. Every room is different. Advice from friends is great, but you need someone with the experience of setting up hundreds of home voiceover studios. I'm Dan Leonard, the home studio master. Let me show you the best place in your home to set up, the right equipment, and how to properly use recording software. Plus, I troubleshoot your home studio nightmares. Wherever in the world you are, having a home studio is essential, but that doesn't mean you have to be a recording engineer. Let me show you how easy it is. Go to homestudiomaster.com or email me at homestudiomaster@verizon.net. I guarantee results. In the modern world... And we're back here on East West Audio Body Shop. Dan Leonard along with George Whittam and our special guest in studio, John Taylor. Wave to us along with your special mitt if you happen to have it there. And we're gonna just carry on here. Again, if you have a question, Sound Gun on Skype is how you get in live right here on East West Audio Body Shop. And we'll try and solve your problems, or you just want to talk about something cool in the industry. That's why we're here. And, one of the things that I've been wanting to get into, and you're PC or Mac, John?
I'm a PC.
Okay, so all right, are you on XP or are you on Windows 7? Or?
Both.
Oh, good. We have been experiencing, I think George and I get probably 1 or 2 calls or emails a week from somebody who they've gone to a new program or they bought a new 64-bit Toshiba laptop. That seems to be the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting this noise. They cannot, no matter what they use, they're having problems with getting their digital interfaces to operate properly with Windows 7. And it was a little bit of a problem with Vista. But with Windows 7, it seems to be, especially with the 64-bit version, it's been just a nightmare for people. And I was working with somebody at their house this week, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I can see, where it is, and I'm going through all the preferences and stuff, but there's something deep down inside there that's not working. Have you experienced that, or is it just working absolutely flawless for you since the time you plugged it in and booted it up?
I do my recordings on XP.
Ah. So,
yeah, no problems. Yeah, I'm not using the new thing. So,
yeah, there you go.
If anybody's an expert out there on Windows, I know George and I have been trying to find somebody who can really help us with this. Neither of us are like total computer geeks. We know how they work. We know how we use the user-friendly technical stuff of it that we can use for doing the show and just basic recording audio. But somewhere deep down in the BIOS of Windows 7, there is something funky in there. What are your thoughts?
Ask me how Windows 7 works. Go ahead.
And how does Windows 7 work?
Magic.
It's magic.
That's how it works.
Good answer.
It's magic, people. It's magic.
That's right. It's magic.
I have no clue.
I think it's a combination of more complicated. It's more complicated audio drivers or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's also hardware. I mean, it's no coincidence that a lot of these are Toshibas. Like, I think there's this definitive problem with the USB port and the power supply or something on these Toshiba laptops, because I have seen that issue come up time and time again. But there's also some really weird things with the audio settings in Windows 7. I installed Windows 7 on the Mac Mini at the Don LaFontaine voiceover lab so we could meet the needs of some people that want to run SoundForge. And even on that computer, we have to set the input setting in the control panel, sound control panel of Windows to about 15%, like almost all the way down, to get everything to kind of modulate correctly. If you set it anything above that, the levels are just totally out to outer space. And I've had a couple clients where I've had to turn their input or their gain setting or something way down on their audio interface to interface with Windows 7 properly. So I think that's another part of the problem.
Well, we should get Bill Gates on here, and so we can really be bored for.
Yeah, that's a barrel of laughs right there. Yeah. I brought my bag of tricks.
Okay, let's see.
There's a lot of little things that we do every day that we kind of take for granted that can be kind of time-saving and helpful. And so I just tried to bring some of these MacGyver little techniques along so that they might be useful. Because there's really only 2 things that I can be in voiceover, and those are useful and charming. So I'm going to try and
that order.
I'm going to try and be be useful first. So I'm
extremely useful, and I always forget that charming.
Now, for the people who are going to go out to gigs, the people that are not, like Philip Banks has to get on a plane to go to a gig. Generally, he's working in Port Gordon. What the hell are you doing?
I turned down Dan's mic. because it's making some horrible sounds.
How do we know
Anyway,
that's
go
his
ahead.
mic? But anyway, when you go out to a gig, a lot of times they expect you to fill out some paperwork. So I bring this handy little folio that has why my passport is there. So it's also handy to have this so that I can get out of the country really quick. But yeah, I have my passport in here. Why don't I have a picture in my passport? But anyway, you know, when I had this picture taken in the passport, it was so horrifying. Look at this picture. I look like a serial killer.
Close up.
I look like a serial killer. and the gal...
That's a mugshot.
Isn't that awful? I mean, Nick Nolte says, "You think I look bad? Look at that."
But think about it this way, John. I mean, you know, I once told my wife this when we were getting our passport pictures taken. I said, you know, really what they should do is take your passport picture after you've gotten up in the morning.
Yeah.
Because most people have been on a plane for 12 hours, and they're in front of the customs, and you're like, that's you, no problem.
Yeah, they see this, they say, oh yeah, nobody looks that. Yeah, it's bad. But the gal at Walgreens who took the picture, she had a great line. I said, could you have taken a worse picture? She said, "You're gonna love it in 10 years." When you renew, right? Isn't that great? But anyway, so I have a passport. I have the, and then I have. I'm not going to put these up to the camera, but I have the W-9 forms already filled out. I have W-9s. I have W-4s. I have actual photocopies of my driver's license with the passport picture.
You have an actual CPA firm in there.
Well, I keep them there because you go to some of these jobs and they want to have this documentation, and you'll sit there filling out forms, and it'll take longer than the job. So have them all ready with lots of copies.
Brilliant.
And you just walk out the door. And I've worked with other actors on projects, and they're sitting at a table like doing busy work.
Yeah, really.
And I'm handing this thing. So you take that for granted. So I keep that folio with me. And, of course, if, I'm in an accident, they can really identify the body.
Exactly.
Using that. Oh, yeah, he looks... actually, the body doesn't look as bad as that passport photo. All right, the other thing is, of course, the trackball. That's a big time saver. Here's another fun one, and I got this from... I'll give credit where credit's due. This was stolen from someone else by Julie Williams. No, I don't know. Julie Williams gave me this idea when we were on that cruise. Remember when we were roommates on the voiceover cruise? George snores horribly. Never ever room with him. You know that noise that cruise ships make? That's actually George. They say, "Guess we don't need the fog alert. Whittam is on a snooze tear again." But anyway,
Your papers, please.
This is a page protector, and this is a great hint. A lot of us have gone paperless in our studios. I have a separate little laptop that all it lives for is opening up emails with scripts in them. And so I send all the scripts to a little used email account that goes to that half-assed laptop that does nothing but open emails. And in the booth is a screen and no CPU, just the monitor. But I have one of these page protectors right over the screen. So generally when we work 60s and 30s, it's just one script, the whole thing on the screen. So guess what? I can mark up my screen with dry erase right over the screen.
That's freaking brilliant.
And then
it is. I got to grab me one of those.
And then erase right off the screen.
How many people are bowing to you right now?
And then you just erase it off with the handy, helpful hamburger helper mitt that has lost its eyes and mouth and become a voiceover helper. That's what you wipe it off with. You can do it with a Kleenex. You don't need an oven mitt.
You could probably also use like a vis-a-vis pen, like for an overhead projector.
If those actually wipe off,
they should.
Having been a teacher, I'll tell you, they do wipe off.
Okay, so a vis-a-vis.
Lens cloth.
A lens cloth. Oh, you people are just so geeky. Just use toilet paper.
Spit on.
It's like that's what the bears use in their voiceover booth in the woods. The bears use toilet paper on there. But anyway, Julie Williams passed this on to us, and she's terrific. I love Julie, and it's a great thing. Another helpful hint. This one passed on to me by Lonnie Manella. I don't know.
Spark, it's George Whittam.
Huh? Oh, he's talking to somebody else.
I guess I had you in the other ear.
Hey, hang on. We're going to have you on, but John's finishing his amazing story.
Oh, this
stand
is
by.
yeah. You might want to grab something to eat. It's going to take a while. But no, it's not going to take a while. Lonnie Minella, does anybody know Lonnie? She's out of San Diego. She is probably in more video games than almost any human, let alone any actor. She's great. Lonnie had a great helpful hint to me because I am not a fast talker. I'm like a marathon talker. I'll go on and on.
Slow talker.
I can't. It's very hard for me to talk quickly with accuracy.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I know. So I'm looking for something in big print here. If you need to do something very quickly and very accurately, Lonnie Minella gave me this great tip. Create a finger puppet version of yourself. I'm so serious about this. Can you give me something that's bigger than this?
Like what?
Anything to read.
Oh, to read?
Yeah, because what this finger will do is it'll allow you to disconnect your mouth from your brain and put something in between your mouth and your brain. So if you have to read fast disclaimer stuff, anything, I don't know.
There's some small type there.
I don't need the small type. It says here, a good professional knows there's always room for improvement. This package has what it takes to help you fine-tune your work and tune out the competition. But if I put my little finger in there and do my little finger puppet guy, I can say, a good professional knows there's always room for improvement. This package has what it takes to help you fine-tune your work and tune out the competition. You try this at home. If you don't have the ability, just when you have to read the fast stuff, the disclaimer stuff, you'll find it takes takes something out of the loop between your brain, your eyes, and your mouth, and it puts this in between. It's a great tip, and it's free. So if you don't like it, you get your money back.
Right.
Damn,
and when you
that's
use
so
that, of course, when you do that, you have to have your official Diane Merritt stopwatch.
Excellent. And another thing here, we take it for granted. We were given these throat coat tea that was put in all of our Voice 2010.
Yeah, I've got mine still sitting around
It's
here
good.
somewhere.
I tell you, it's good stuff. The Slippery Elm singers use it. That's another thing. And one more thing.
All this will be in the show notes, everybody.
Yeah.
It'll be
One
in
more
the show
thing.
notes.
This is my favorite. We've got too many damn cords everywhere, and I don't care if you're in voiceover or not. You've got to get your phone recharged, and you've got all sorts of apparatus everywhere. This is the cord management trick of the century. These little clips that you buy at Staples, you unhook them and you thread the cord, the offending cord through there. And with a Sharpie, you write what it is. Like this will be audio-visual. You'd write it with a Sharpie. And you clip these cords that are snaking all over your desk to the side of your desk, and they're right there.
John, you are the Martha Stewart of audio.
I'm the MacGruber of home audio. So imagine you've got all of these cords going in all these different directions, but you've got them all clipped to the edge of your desk, ready to go, and you know which one is which. I'm just saying, those are things that I take for granted that I do every day.
That's how you tame the Hydra, George.
It's crazy.
Thanks for taking stuff. I mean, you take them for granted because you came up with ideas that work for you.
I stole ideas. These aren't.
Yeah, I mean,
we share them. I give Julie the page protector one. That came from her. But we steal them, and we share them.
As long as we share it, stealing is fine. Right. As long as you share it. That's how I feel, man.
Right.
Share the love. Yeah. Let's move on and take a break, and we'll come back with a caller because I think we got somebody hanging on, being very patient for us.
Thanks for your patience. Your call is important to us.
No, it's not.
Please hold.
Right back. Shortcuts, using the audio units effects that come on your Mac, creating effect stacks, which really saves tremendous amounts of time when you're doing editing, exporting the files in different formats, how to do batch processing, which if you do any narration or book on tape, IVR especially, saves tremendous amounts of time. So please sign up. It's only $39 to be a part of this webinar. And if you can't be on the call live, which is Monday, July 18th, 2011, you'll get a recording of the call later on. So don't worry about it. And I'll even take questions by email. So be there. If you want to learn a few new tricks about Twisted Wave that are really going to propel you forward and make you save tremendous amounts of time while editing, this is the webinar for you. Be there.
We've got years of experience. Here on East West Audio Body Shop. It's live. What are you going to do?
We're having
But
fun
then again,
today.
what else were you going to do tonight? You might as well show up and hang
Playing
out
it
with
fast
us.
and loose, I thought, let's have fun with it.
That's right.
I'm always so stressed out before the show, making sure all the little pieces fall into place, and I'm like, for what?
Yeah,
for
I'm
John
not
over
stressed
here?
You're sweating like a Palin on Jeopardy.
Oh, man.
All right, you California guys, stop it right now. All right, so I think we have a caller, don't we, George?
Waiting patiently, please.
Somebody waiting patiently. Good evening. You're on East West Audio Body Shop. Who's calling?
This is Spark in Northern California.
Spark. Oh, more Californians. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I don't know if I have any special tips, like special golden clips or something like that. You dip those in gold, like I got to get into VO.
There you go.
Mine are titanium.
I've only seen those black clips, but I like the gold ones. I have a question for you guys that maybe you can answer it.
Go for it.
Well, I record for LibriVox.org, just kind of volunteer recording.
Oh, yeah.
And last week you talked a little bit about deep breathing.
Oh, yes.
And I kind of just came to start cutting my breaths out, and I was wondering what kind of damage I was doing to the end user experience. And I thought maybe you two guys, or even the three of you, might be able to help me answer that.
Well,
Yeah.
I do it every day because I breathe heavily. I think I've told this story before. One of the things I do, especially on long format stuff, is I will generally try to kick out as much of a paragraph as I can to avoid as much deep breathing as I can. And there used to be an announcer or a news guy here in Buffalo, Irv Weinstein, who's now living in Irvine, California, just up the road from you guys. And he used to start a story going, Buffalo Blaze Busters, scooped up $10 from the till and fled on foot into a 3-4 story.
They call that sucking in the room.
Sucking in the room, which I tend to do most of the time, although I'm working at doing it a little bit easier. And usually it'll leave a big breath. I used to cut them out and, just silence that section. Once I started working with the spectrogram and auto heal, that really worked a lot nicer. Now with the Audition CS5, John, the auto heal works on a much wider field. So I have found that if you have a fairly loud breath, you can go in there, highlight it, hit auto heal, and it just dissolves it. It's like, pouring turpentine on it for the most part. Or you take it in and just lower the level a little bit. And that works pretty well. Now, somebody was talking about how there's a way, I think somebody was saying on one of the actual videos from, what's the name of the company that does the videos for Adobe?
Linda?
Linda, that's right.
LYNDA.com.
They were saying that there's a way to, I guess, capture a breath and then it will process all of them out inside the entire file.
Yeah, you make that the noise reduction profile.
Right.
You capture, you highlight a breath, and you make that the noise reduction profile. But unfortunately, it will take out everything in
else.
that frequency directly, right across the boards. I suggest use insert silence. What I do is I highlight the breath, and I hit insert silence, and I have it set at 0.09 seconds. That's how long it takes me to breathe. And so that's, boom, done.
Does that work, though? I mean, you have to have a really low noise floor to do that, right? Because otherwise the silence becomes obvious wherever it drops in there.
I have a really low noise floor.
You have a whisper room.
Unless I'm gassy.
Right. Or if you're using a noise gate as part of the processing and you have it set correctly, you can save a lot of time with deep breathing by using a noise gate to kind of help at least reduce the level of the breaths.
Right. Since I started using Zimplegate, I'm able to do that for things that are like under 40 dB.
Yeah, it's
or minus 40 dB.
It depends on the consistency of your breathing and how sharp the breathing is, how loud it is, a lot of different factors.
Ask your doctor about Zimplegate.
Do not take Zimplegate if you are.
Does that are we getting into the ballpark there with your question?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Just don't cut out any. Just don't cut anything out. It has to be replaced by, or just make them quieter. But people breathe naturally, and a lot of times in acting, the breathing is really necessary.
Oh yeah. Ask Pat Fraley.
Yeah, he does some great exercises around breathing. It's just like, okay, fine. It's
when it's
a lot
part
of
of the
times we breathe in real life. So
yeah, it certainly depends on the type of voice acting you're doing. I mean, some stuff they don't want any breath; they want it to be mechanical, clean, and just cold, and government, corporate, or corporate, some government or corporate narration or something like that, maybe like that.
Right.
But other types of work, you want to have all the breath in there to be part of the emotion. Maybe book narration, things like that. So,
because having those big breaths means that you're looking ahead to sort of stock up on oxygen so that you can do this long paragraph that's coming up, which means it's almost saying subliminally to the listener, I know I'm going to have to read a lot, so I'm going to do this Brenda Vaccaro intake of... Nobody remembers that, do they?
I remember Brenda Vaccaro.
Hi, I'm Brenda Vaccaro. And I don't even want to talk about it. It was like tampon commercials she was doing. Right? Hi.
No longer with us, but yeah. And actually Pat talks about, one of the tricks that he uses, and of course he loves to talk about how he's not an engineer. He also said, take some room silence and insert that as opposed to inserting silence, so you actually have the same ambiance of the room.
room tone. Yep.
Yeah, so that's also another great little trick. So there's lots of ways to do it, Spark. I mean, you try and see what works best for you. But those are there's 4 that you can try.
I like the last one. I like the last one. That's really good. And you could do it on the end. Just leave some quiet on the end.
Right.
Grab about 0.09 seconds of that, copy it, and then just paste it over the breaths, and that'd probably solve your noise floor dilemma. Mm-hmm. And nice, very elegant there, Dan.
Appreciate it. Now with the finger puppet, I'll use my Sharpie to make a little smiley face on my thumb, and I'll have my own finger puppet, and I'll be good to go. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome, Spark.
Take care, Spark.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, another problem solved here at East West Audio Body Shop.
And a new problem created.
Yeah. But there are 4 good ways to do that. And or not to do it at all. But that's part of, learning how to be a good voice actor and knowing when to put the proper sigh in at the right time.
Yeah.
So
anybody in the chat room, I know you guys are frustrated whenever you post a URL and Ustream removes it because those URLs aren't paying for advertising space on the Ustream website.
That's right.
So they kill your URLs. Then just email all those pearls of wisdom to us. Send it to ewabshop@gmail.com. And I will be happy to put these little bits of information in the show notes because I want to make sure everybody learns and shares from each other. And if it's through the chat room, more than us just flapping our gums on the show, so be it. So please share.
Maybe you're flapping your gums. I use denture cream, so keeps them.
Someday I aspire to using denture cream.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes. That's going to sound great when I lose my teeth and I have to speak like this.
I got a clickety clackety crown. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys haven't gotten your letter from the AARP.
Oh, no, I'm getting them.
Oh, okay.
That's because I did some identity theft on an old store.
A real quickie from Diane. Diane Merritt did ask about recording on an iPad. And I know we've talked about this a lot, but I do have to say it is definitely possible to do. And the Apple guy told her that you got to use an iRig mic. And that's probably because that's the only product that the Apple Store had. Yeah. So that's what they told her to get. But it's a piece of junk. The iRig mic is really bad. It sounds worse than this looks. And the
iRig sucks. Don't use it. It's awful.
It's made for people who are like musicians who don't give a crap what the heck
Yeah,
they sound like
it's
when
for,
they're doing a demo, you know?
Yeah, garage style recording. You're just hollering lyrics into a YouTube video, and it has effects and all kinds of bells and whistles. But at the end of the day, sound quality, it ain't there. So
Piece of crap.
I've got a really good blog post about it on my blog, eldorec.com/eldoblog.
He's got more plugs than Joe Biden.
Go check out the blog and read Bo Weaver's dissertation on using a Centrance Mic Port Pro.
Bo is so awesome. Anybody in the L.A. area, he's selling his booth. Oh,
Yeah, I saw
he's
that.
selling his booth. I'm like, I gotta stop sleeping in my bedroom and just get that booth. Right now, I'm using my stand-up coffin. I don't have the floor space to
pretty
buy
big.
It's pretty big, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a
And
corner booth.
and it's got the windows and it's got the Bo Weaver booking mojo, and he's selling it for $1,800.
It's got the vibe.
It is awesome,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
a
going to be
deal.
a lot to move. You're going to have to get some
Yeah.
burly men.
This thing was basically home built by somebody, so it doesn't come apart like a whisper room. It's
Right.
it's definitely a
But it's got the Bo Weaver mojo. You know?
that you can't pay for that.
No.
You can't. So
I was laughing at this free advertising. It's like, spread the word.
You know what though? It's a
Like the
great
boatmobile.
It's a great gift. You know, at
Yes.
that price, it cost probably $6,000 to make.
well, I don't. Who knows? I mean, it was
Yeah.
custom built. Could
Yeah.
have been a lot more than that, but
Could have been.
Anywho, let's do a break, and we'll see. if we
Yeah,
can
we've
get
got
somebody
bad audio
else.
of the week coming up, do we not?
We do.
Woo!
All right. Can't wait. We'll be right back right after this. Hopefully this will work this time. You've got it all queued up and ready to roll?
Oh yeah, baby! It's
All
all
right.
queued up and
Let's
nothing's
go.
happening.
VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com.
And we're back here on East West Audio Body Shop here on, it's June 26th. Where's this year going?
I know it.
There was snow on the ground when we started doing this show, George. I mean, it was...
Not here.
No, I know there wasn't any there. Well, maybe up on
Up on the
Mount
mountains.
Shasta or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. But, or wherever... Where was it? You Mammoth, that's where you went skiing this winter. Actually,
I
it was
did. I
still
went to
spring.
winter. I went there in May, and there was
Yeah.
20 feet of base on the top of the mountain.
Wow.
So
Yeah, so, but, you know, we're halfway through the year. This is our 13th show. An
Wow.
entire season, an entire quarter of this year of eWebs. Oh, of course, now Diane's thing is clicking off, and now she's laughing at me, I'm sure. But you know, we're here, and we're glad that you stayed with us through thick or thin. Some of us a little bit more thick than thin. And but next week, because it is the 4th of July holiday, we will not be joining you here on eWebs. But look, all 13 episodes are sitting there on YouTube, on iTunes, and here on Ustream. So if you missed one of the amazing 13 weeks prior to next week, you can just, you know, watch it again and
reminisce.
say, wow,
Reminisce.
It's like audio porn.
it is.
All right, you guys do bad audio of the week. I went through all of my hard drives to try and find this one.
Go for it.
There used to be a company in Los Angeles called Spot Runner, and they made cookie cutter template television commercials. And I used to go there twice a week and do a session, and I would just run from booth to booth, script to script, and it was really kind of a great workout. They didn't pay anything. Everybody got stock options for their pay, but I would go from booth to booth, and somebody put. Anyway, I went in and I remember reading, something for a jewelry company, and it was like, at Kressler's Jewelers, they put an electronic voice-activated whoopee cushion in the booth. And I think every voiceover person should have one of these.
I have one in the drawer.
Do you really?
Yes.
And I couldn't figure out what the...
It's remote control, actually.
Oh, it's remote control?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get that. Put that in somebody's booth when you go over and, because we travel, we visit our friends with voiceover. Leave it in their booth and let them try and do a read.
I'd like to hack it so I could control it from an IP address over the internet.
That's a new app. New app that will make...
What, a Raspberry app?
There's probably a 7,800 different iPhone farting apps, but
this is the one that would make other people farts happen in other people's booths. And they were accusing me, John, man, you're not supposed to be doing that in the booth. I said, listen, he who heard it dealt it. It wasn't me. There's something, and I had to search the booth. I was like, "What the?"
So they were literally playing a joke on you. The engineers were?
They left. It went from booth to booth.
Oh, okay.
They had VO guys come in all the time. So yeah, that was my bad audio, and I said, "Oh, you got to send me the audio of me."
It's fantastic.
Losing
your mind.
Yeah, because I was like, "No, it's not me. I swear to God, come in and smell this booth. There's nothing going on here. It's fresh as a daisy. I swear.
It's fresh as a daisy. I swear."
All right, that was my bad. Is Dan okay?
I'm here. You just lost me. I'm just not on screen. I'm like hiding here.
He's here. And I'm just, I'm trying to be creative and click on buttons.
Oh, okay. There was a question Ann Richardson was asking about.
Get on it. Let's do it.
About Pro Tools versus Twisted Wave.
Totally
There's no
different
comparison.
Animals. Totally
what are you people using Pro Tools for? Get off of there.
Well,
I mean,
it's like the difference between Photoshop and Paint.
Well, yeah.
But totally useful for whatever if what you're doing is simple, go for it.
Pro Tools is awesome if you need Pro Tools. Period.
Right. And who amongst us needs Pro Tools?
I do.
How many tracks can you possibly use at one time, John? I mean, maybe I've done 4 or 5 and stuff like that.
I can't keep track of that many.
Are you producing multi-track productions with lots of real-time effects? Adobe Audition does that beautifully, and probably has fewer buffer over and underrun and neo access errors than Pro Tools.
And if you don't know what those are, then you really know you shouldn't be using Pro Tools.
It's the spinning wheel of death.
You can see the spinning pinwheel or audio error messages. Ann says she's doing audiobooks. Some people think that they need to have Pro Tools for doing audiobooks because they're told they have to be able to do things called punch-ins or quick punches and things like that. And man, I think that's nuts because then you have to switch your performing acting hat to your engineering hat,
right,
midstream, like in the middle of a read, and that's I don't think the best workflow.
Right. I would think that a Twisted Wave would certainly be adequate for doing audiobooks.
Oh, it is, and that's why one of the reasons I like Audition CS5 and why I was using Soundbooth. You're able to customize the keystrokes and stuff, and if you're working in front of Diane, would you turn this freaking thing off?
I think she has the app. She's controlling it from her iPhone.
This thing is gonna wake me up every 5 minutes now.
Knock it off, Mary.
Get it off of there. I can see her. I can hear her laughing all the way from wherever it is
she's laughing in that mellifluous telephony laugh.
Yes. But the thing is that now, of course, I've totally lost my train of thought.
Go ahead.
We were talking about Pro Tools, I think. Mm-hmm. We were talking about marking. That's what it was. You can customize the keystrokes, and I've got one that says M.
He said stroke.
Keystroke. Yes. A shortcut. And I just hit M, and that will give a marker. Now, if I'm working with somebody else, like my son Lewis is in here doing some stuff, he's got his back to me. If he makes a mistake, I just hit M, 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 and you go right through, and I just do it again, say that line again, or when I'm doing something, everybody knows I go, boop, and I can go back and just edit, and it doesn't stop my flow at all. And it's like, how did I do that line wrong? Oh, okay, right. And then just go right back into it. So, this thing with rolling back and pre-rolling and punching it. That's a videotape thing.
Yeah,
that's
the timing right on the punch. That's
that's ridiculous. I mean,
what you need to do, Ann, is you need to keep pushing forward all the time in your recording. So when you know you flubbed, roll back to the beginning of the sentence or the thought or sometimes the paragraph and retake it, and then just cut out the mistake rather than going back in punching in.
And we're all keep in mind we're kind of assuming that was something that you're dealing with. I just brought that up, but it is probably one of the reasons why people are coerced among the audiobook community to use Pro Tools in the first place. I've heard this a few times now.
Yeah, more than once. Yeah.
So I don't think it's the right workflow at all, actually.
And compression and EQ on audiobooks, I would think you want to just send them the cleanest possible audio, so you make sure your room is in good shape acoustically ahead of time.
Don't even tackle audiobooks unless you've got a really good sounding room. It's got to be quiet, and it's got to have good acoustics, and you have to have long, extended periods of silence.
That means you have to have kids in college.
Yeah. Jake, shut up!
That are away.
Yeah.
Or a silent
dog.
Of that. I have a silent dog.
Or a silent dog.
I have 2 silent dogs that decide whenever the garage door on the other side of the court opens up, that's when they have to bark for 10 minutes.
It's the metal plate in their head. Whenever you hit the button, they...
I have an apartment directly above me that just got a new tenant who likes to sing bad 70s karaoke at the top of his lungs. And I was threatening on Facebook to actually record it and stream him live.
Isn't that redundant, John? Bad 70s?
No, the 70s had some good stuff.
I know.
The 70s were great, except for disco and...
Hey!
I resemble that remark.
No, there was some good stuff.
There was.
Well, is there anything else we want to tackle from the chat room questions?
Let's see, what do we got here?
Apogee mic. Any updates on the Apogee mic? Yeah, well, you'll know as soon as we do, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait because I will be the first in line, as I was almost on the first in line, with my toe throbbing. Remember that, George?
Yeah. Yeah.
For an iPad. And,
that reminds me, if you do have an iPhone or an iPad or any iOS device and you do use Twisted Wave, if you want to be able to make markers while you're in the booth, you can install the little remote control app on your iPhone or iOS device, whatever that thing may be. You could be in your booth with that thing and just hold it in your hand, and every time you make an error, you can click the marker button on your phone. That will control Twisted Wave in the other room where your studio is, and put little markers in there for you. So another cool, nifty technological solution to a possible problem.
Man, we covered a lot of ground tonight.
Yeah, we did. If you just let us talk and don't worry about some stupid format or having to take calls.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, if all of these pesky audience members would get out of our way.
Yeah, really.
We could have fun.
Think?
No, trust us, please.
Please be in the way.
No, please stay here.
Yeah, we do.
And if you know of any sponsors that want to come in and and shamelessly promote on here, we'll be happy to have them.
Yeah, just so you know, the commercials. The one person did ask about the commercials. There's 2 kinds of commercials. There's the one that as soon as you start watching the feed, you get this 30-second national campaign for British Petroleum or something horrible.
You don't have to pay for this show, and that's why.
That would cost us $500 to get rid of. I understand.
Diane, turn it off.
So anyway, that's why that commercial happens. The other little spots we do, we did that to make it feel like a real show, give us a second to get our act together between segments.
Oh, please, it was blatant self-promotion the whole time.
But that's why we're here, John. This is shameless self-promotion.
They charged me to park here. They don't even validate.
But that's why we actually do intend to actually eventually replace those annoying commercials from Ustream with real... just with only having our little spots in there, and that's the intention. So if you know anybody you think that would be interested in being a supporter of the show, please have them drop us a line. We'd really appreciate it. And
Or
if
send
you
us
have
$500.
send us $500. I've actually I might be wrong about that. It might be $100 for up to 20 or up to 50 viewers. It's like there's a tier or something. But
You're so cheap you wouldn't pay $5. So
Yeah,
it's
probably
all
not.
relative. What is this? He's been fiddling with this thing.
I
What is
can't
it?
not
What is
fiddle
this?
with things.
It's an express card reader. Oh, and so it's either play with that or the restless leg syndrome earthquakes.
Yeah,
That
I
shit.
crossed my leg to keep me from shaking my leg.
Stop it! Quit it! Oh, I'm having a flashback
God,
to
you're killing me.
'94.
Well, anyway.
And on that note, by the way, we won't be here for 4th of July, so happy Independence Day, everybody. And then I guess we're going to do every other week in July and August.
July 10th, we'll be back with D.B. Cooper.
Yay!
No, I'm sorry, I screwed up. We'll be back
come
with
on.
Bob Bergen.
Oh, Bob Bergen will be here. That's all, folks.
Bob Bergen.
All right.
Bob Bergen will be
that's-
on, and then we'll have D.B. Cooper the 2 weeks after that.
Yes.
Love me some
Well,
DB.
Yes. Well, as we like to say, what else were you going to do tonight? You joined us here on East West Audio Body Shop. John Taylor, always a pleasure to have you on. You were the glue that held it together tonight.
I was the spit and chewing gum that held
The
it
Bailey
together
fire,
tonight.
yeah. I knew that was coming. See that coming 10 feet away.
Glue. What does he know from glue? Can barely keep that mustache glued on.
Hey, you don't know what it takes to keep this thing together. Anyway, we will see you next week. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
I'm George Whittam in the West.
And you won't see me next week.
Lucky
Be
for you.
thankful.
We know you'll be there. And together we're all East West
West Audio Body Shop.
Body Shop. Have a great week, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Have a great Independence Day. And we love you all. And thanks for joining in.
Bumper.
I don't even know her.